I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me. Gon' back it up. Matter what? Told you I'ma do me. Why you hating on me? It's not adding up. I do roll like a Mack truck, country heart. I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month. I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car to get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up. I'm just doing me, everything is on me. Oh, you matter what? Add it up, bankroll, euro.
Oh my goodness, what it do, folks?
Man, what's happening with it?
No sleep.
Literally.
No sleep, brother. Hey, first of all,
Literally, right?
first of all, what's up with you, man? We a little late today, a little CP time, but I appreciate you calling me on the carpet and saying, "Man, we doing a show tonight." Man,
I know you're gonna get caught up in that game, man. I know you're gonna sip some bases and get caught up in that game.
Yeah,
so I wanted to make sure we get it out there beforehand. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Plus, you know, we've been gone for a minute, so it's good to be back in the mix of things. So what's happening, folks? Hopefully everything is going well with everyone. I should probably talk about my sabbatical. And the reason why I was gone, but it literally was. It's one of those things. I talked to a friend of mine. He said, "You know what? You ask for the smoke, and you're gonna get the smoke." And you know, the last show that we did, when we got into some real conversations, you know, really wanted me to step back a little bit, make sure that we were doing the right thing, and I realized that we are. Right, you know, we not just talking about sports scores. We're not just talking about who's got the best shoes. We're talking about some real issues, and that Trevor Bauer story really got me. And the engagement that we had with the audience and with the watchers. So, I again just wanted to make sure that mentally I was ready to continue to keep pushing these buttons, and I'm just glad that I came back and said, yeah, we are, and I just want to give you a shout out, Montel, for still being part of this team and knowing that we're doing the right thing, brother. So let's just keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
Absolutely, man. I mean, that's what we're about, having the uncomfortable conversations and how sports affects our community. So that was a real uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah,
you know, but it's warranted. I think if more people discuss it and more people talk about it, everyone will get a better understanding from all sides.
Definitely,
you know, and get a better feel for what's going on. I don't, you know, sports figures or actors and all that aren't oblivious to these things. They do a lot of, you know, some of them do a lot of bad things. So I think they need to be called out.
Yeah,
and it needs to be talked about.
Yeah. So I'm going to admit I have no stories ready. I know you sent me a couple of things to talk about. I am very not prepared. I put the show up. It's good to see that folks are chiming in and tuning in. Mr. Cox, we see you, brother. Welcome back from Disneyland. Lisa Maria, good to see you. And I know some other folks. Definitely chime and say who's watching us, joining Team No Sleep. Football is back, though. We can talk about that right now.
Yeah,
We can talk about TB12 out there doing some things right now, tearing up them Cowboys. Where my Cowboys fans at? Where my Cowboys fans
I
at?
don't know that they may want to run. They may want to go running after this one, but football's back, man. It's good to see the NFL's back. I
Yeah.
think it's good to see college football back. It's actually good even to see high school and youth football back now. So, with COVID going on, we haven't gotten rid of COVID and we haven't gotten over that major hump yet. But I mean, we've learned how to live with it and deal with it.
Yeah.
I think in certain ways, and I think that it's a good thing. It's a good thing. This kind of brings us kind of back together and gives us at least that gives us that loss of reality for a while we can be entertained as fans. So I'm
true.
all for it.
That's true. Now, speaking of football, I'm not going to let you slide because you were gone for a little while yourself. You got a young man in the family that's doing some big things too. Talk to us a little bit about the young Mr. Allen that's out there playing football.
I got two of them involved. I mean, my older son, Montel Jr., he's the coach at Lehigh University, D-line coach. They got beat pretty bad by Villanova this past week. But Villanova was one of the ranked top teams in the nation. He's at Lehigh, a small Division I AA school. He's a D-line coach, special teams guy, so he's doing this thing. And then I have my younger son, Blake Allen, who's running back for Southwest Minnesota State. He's a true freshman, and he actually made the travel squad, and he's playing. He got in the game, second quarter, made a key block for us to score in the game. And unfortunately, we lost that game as well. But, I mean, it's good to see the Allen boys, the Allen trio, definitely doing their thing. So I'm a proud papa, to say the least.
Out there doing their thing. Now, in terms of COVID is just going to be in the conversation irregardless. I think what we do from now on. So how is that affecting both from, I guess the coaching perspective for your one son, and then also from a player perspective out there at the new school that he's at? How is protocols around that?
Yeah, I can speak personally because I talk to him all the time. So from a coaching standpoint, it's basically, keeping those kids quarantined as much as they possibly can, keep them secluded from the population of the school, and kind of just keeping them on tested, keep getting them tested and whatnot. That's their protocol, what they're doing, as well as keeping themselves not getting tested because they're exposed to everybody, the whole team, all the time. So Lehigh's been pretty good about it. They've been able to put some things in place to be able to keep it really quarantined or keep the kids safe. On my other son's team, Blake in Southwest Minnesota, the first week there they had an outbreak. So his first week there, the whole entire O-line was exposed to quarantine, was exposed to COVID and had to quarantine for 10 days. So they missed 10 days of practice they were basically practicing with no offensive line.
Wow.
So for 10 days. So they had to get that straight away. Now they got it squared away. They have some things in line for their protocol. So sending from that standpoint is different. But I think, as you can see with the news and the things going on, the vaccine is becoming required now.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell people are saying you can't come into the stadium unless you can show proof of vaccination. Teams are going to start requiring you, if you want to participate. I believe in college sports, you have to be vaccinated if you want to participate because you're going to be on campus, which is going to be that widespread. The NFL and some of the professional sports, those stars have money, so they can kind of decline and say, I don't want to take it and deal with the consequences in that fact. But for the most part, it looks like the vaccine is going to be something that's going to be required, not only from a participation standpoint, but also from a fans enjoying it live standpoint.
Right.
So it ain't, like we said, COVID's not going nowhere. We just don't know how to deal with it now. So learn how to live with it 18 months later. So
that's true. We just gonna have to adjust and continue to be vigilant in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about. Now, don't be biased. Now, I know your son is playing, college ball, and I know you got a coach out there too. But what's a college team that you watch and outside of the Allen clan?
I'm gonna have to give you UCLA is balling.
Wait a minute, where my swag at? Okay, hold
man,
on. Yeah, we doing it right. We beat LSU.
Yeah. I mean, but I watch a lot. I watch a lot of college football. I watch a lot of college football. And I like to watch teams. San Jose State is a very good team. People want to downplay them. They are very good. Fresno State is a very good team. Even both those teams lost this past week, they are very good teams. I think with San Jose State, the limelight for USC was just a little bit too big. I don't think it was a competition. I think just being starstruck playing on that big stage. I think it got a little bit to San Jose State. I think they can compete. Fresno State balled out, played really well. They ended up losing at the end. UCLA dominated LSU. LSU kind of has a little bit of asterisk by it. I know they were dealing with the hurricane stuff. They got a lot of stuff going on back home. Maybe a bit more of a distraction, but they got mollywopped by UCLA regardless of the fact. I start to see a lot of other teams playing. We saw a lot of small schools defeat big schools. Montana going there and beat UW with Division I AA beating a big Division I school, and there were several of them across the country. I think the playing field, what people need to realize, especially if you got high school kids or you guys got kids that have aspiration playing at the next level coming out of high school, the playing field is getting more and more even at the levels. There's only limited scholarships, and you can tell. I think there were 7 Division I AA teams that beat 7 big powerhouse teams or 7 Division I teams. There was 2 Division II teams that beat Division I teams. So the playing field or the quality of play is starting to flatten out levels now that are giving money. So it's exciting, man. I think it's an exciting time to be about football. I think that means now that just makes it harder for the NFL and other professional leagues to scout because now you have talent everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Cox here coming in with the comments. Ohio State better get their stuff together with Oregon. Yeah, look, no, is that Oregon State or is that the Ducks?
I like Oregon, or I think Ohio State's going to mollywop. I think
oh my
they
goodness.
cannot compete. They cannot compete with Ohio State's O-line, especially with Thibodeau being hurt. I don't think they compete with their O-line, and I think they can't compete with that play action pass with Olave catching the ball. Now I do love the fact that Oregon State's running game with C.J. Verdell and company. They run the ball very well. But Oregon's one of those teams, man, they let teams play too close. They don't blow them. I mean, they should have blown that team out. They played this past week, and it ended up being the last second, them pulling it out with the last drive against Fresno State, actually. If they do that against Ohio State, call them the mollywop. Ohio State's going to blow them out.
Call them the mollywop.
Yeah, the mollywop. They're gonna get mollied and wop right out the door if they play that way. So I'm going for. I think Ohio State got that one.
Yeah, well, that traditionally that's who the money and not even gonna say the betting from a betting perspective, but Ohio State is kind of where it is. And Oregon was always flashy, always good to watch, but just classic football, just go out there and smash them in the mouth kind of thing. Yeah, Ohio's gonna come out there and do their thing. I see Mr. Cox. Won't you get on camera, Kevin? Where you at, man?
You trying to say Minnesota? Minnesota hung.
Yeah,
by the way, I was in Minnesota. During the game. I was out there during the game. They hung. They played well. But as soon as Ohio State figured them out, man, it was like they put up 30 points like it was nothing. Quick. So, it just took a while for them to crack the Da Vinci Code being the first game in. I think Ohio State and Oregon are both going to be pumped going this game because it's going to be a national game. Mm-hmm. But I believe Ohio State is going to put a little bit on it. They got a lot, and both teams got something to prove. Oregon State's got to represent the Pac-12 and show that we belong in the playoffs and play really, really well. I hope they do. I do hope they put up a good showing. Ohio State still has a bad taste in their mouth, losing in the playoffs, trying to get themselves back in the Final Four. So it's going to be a whole lot going on in that game. I just don't see Oregon right now beating Ohio State. It just doesn't vibe right now.
Right. I got you. Staying with college football, and I saw a video clip from Coach Deion Sanders the other day, and Deion is talking truth to the media. He's talking truth to the parents and everyone around his anyone that can hear his voice. But he's actually talking about doing some big things right now. As you mentioned about merging all of the conferences to the HBCU conferences. Talk to us a little bit about that and what your thoughts are from what Coach Deion.
I don't know. I don't know if Deion planned this or kind of just it just kind of molded this way. But I don't think people understand if he can merge the MAC and the SWAC together, which is one of the largest conferences as far as not just HBCU, but one of the largest conferences. I think Deion is aligning HBCUs to have their own TV deal, which would be huge.
Yeah.
Like the SEC channel and the ACC channel and the Pac-12 channel, it would be whatever they name it. It would be the HBCU channel, where all their schools and their sports would be televised on a channel that would go 24 hours, which would capture that market. That's so much money that would go into these schools to be able to build new facilities, attract different athletes, provide a whole different avenue that HBCUs have been missing for so long. He's putting them on that stage, and the way HBCU was playing, it's no lackluster for it because we could tell. Central State that played Alcorn State on the ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the highest. That was one of the top 10 highest rated games they've had in the last 10 years on ESPN. Two HBCU teams that no one even really pays attention to. Granted, it was kicking off the season of football, but no one has ever paid that much attention and put that many eyes on HBCU and the quality of ball that's been. So I think as long as Deion is keep voicing his concerns and how he wants to promote HBCUs. Now you got Eddie George on their side.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that Terrell Owens takes over the Tennessee Chattanooga program as the head coach, as a face for them. Terrell Owens would do that and go back to his alma mater and give back to there. Then you'll have three powerful voices within HBCU that can really make a push for that role to let's merge for one. And now I think right after that merger, a TV deal was imminent, coming a long way, which is going to be billions of dollars over the next coming years coming within those conferences. Right. So me, I don't know. I don't even know if he's there yet at that point, but I see that coming. That's coming because it's there. I mean, you got basketball, football, baseball, softball, and all of the sports you can name, track and field, all these sports were under HBCU umbrellas. Not to mention Battle of the Bands, not to mention just offshoot talk shows. I mean, they have enough content within all those schools to be able to build their own network and keep it alive and keep it going. And I think that will be a huge market that we're looking at.
Yeah, no, so you think about it, though. We've had conversations like this amongst family, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, amongst the HBCU, amongst the Black community, we said, you know what, we need more prime time time, and pun being intended, prime time, talking about Deion. Where I'm going to, is Deion the right person to lead this charge? He didn't ask for it, right? But again, he is the vocal person. He is seen as kind of the face probably of HBCU coaching, just again because day one, his first game, he's out there winning. Man, and he's got a whole different mentality. He's been there. He's done that. He's got the rings. He's got the swagger. He is Deion Sanders. And just going out there and having the momentum go into kind of an era of saying we need to have our names on the back of our jerseys. That was the last video that I saw him talk about. Get a family some love and respect when you got your son out there running up and down the field doing their thing. Now the conversation is about TV deals, merging the conferences. Is Deion the right person? You're talking about Terrell as well. Talk about that.
Yeah, I think so. I think right now he's the hot ticket. He's the guy that everyone wants to go to have those conversations about and kind of put things in place in motion. Deion is trying to make sure the HBCUs do not get left out like they have been historically to the Division I schools. And I think he's already brought the bowl, the All-Star game for them. So they can have their own kind of Senior Bowl or East Ryan Bowl or Reese Bowl, however you want to call it, of All-Stars of HBCU, so they can participate and NFL teams can come look at them. He's already established that last year. Now he's got talks about the two conferences merging. I think inevitable it will be now, hey, let's get this network thing going because there is a market there. And we all know if there's content and people want to look at it, there's a market for it. People are going to put into it. I think this would be prime setting to be able to do that. It's just like Oklahoma going and Texas going over to the SEC. They're not going over there just to play competition. They're going over there for the money. It's a TV deal. They're going to be constantly prime time on TV. They're going to be on the SEC network or they're going to be on a big ESPN or ABC. For HBCUs now to have their own lane, to have their own games, stream, their own games to be watched, their own content to be developed, basically all year round is the way to go. And I think to answer your question, yes, Deion is the right person now. But I think if you add these other voices, Eddie George, you add Terrell Owens, you add Shannon Sharp who went to a HBCU. If you start adding these voices saying, hey, it's about time and we need to do this with this NFL guys to kind of say, hey, let's do it. They don't necessarily have to put the money. They just need to have a voice to say, hey, this is what can be done. And I think the financial backing will start to come, and I think it'll start to happen.
Right. Because it is long overdue. Kevin Cox is saying here he was a TV analyst too, so he's got some working knowledge of how that stuff works too, beyond just the athlete thing. That's a great point, right? Deion knows both sides of the fence, right? He could talk to the business side, he could talk from an athlete's perspective side. He knows what it is to win. And get some folks like you say, Eddie George, get some folks like Terrell Owens in there who have been to that sports mountaintop as well, and still have the cachet, right? Still have kind of the following, who could probably get out there and still play if they wanted to themselves, right? They can still lace them up. So the kids will respect them, right? In terms of leading the conferences and leading the organizations that way. So we'll see how that all plays out, man. But I think it's a great thing. I loved seeing even some of the social media feeds when there were some HBCUs on ESPN not too long ago, and people were actually talking about the halftime, and the battle of the bands. Look, we did this forever, but it's just it's great to see other folks now getting taste of that, right? It's great to see that now folks are understanding that this is what it's all about. The game is one thing, but man, when them bands get out there and do their thing too, and again, it's not just about that, but I think it's beautiful for a cross section of the world to see what HBCUs bring, right? Just from
the overall entertainment that it provides. I think it gives it a different dynamic than what they're used to seeing just on regular TV, and I think it's a great experience. I think now, at least I'm thinking, and I don't know this for sure. I don't think I can get a network, but I'm thinking the way Deion is going and pushing it, it's getting to that point where, like, hey, we are a commodity that we can venture into having our own network because we have enough content to provide 24/7. We got volleyball, Grambling versus Alcorn State or whoever it is, North Carolina. So you can put all these things on and you have enough content to be able to now will they have the fan base will be something else, but it's starting to prove they do have the fan base. They're selling out games. They're getting people there. The Howards of the world and them are already doing it. So basketball is already going to be the next mainstay to see if it can happen. And I think Deion is the one to say, hey, I'm the forefront. I'm going to push for this stuff for football. And if I get it in football, we're going to get it everybody. We're going to get it everywhere else. It's coming for everywhere else. And I think it's just a great thing to see them getting to be on that same playing field. Now, what's going to end up happening if it does all come together, like I think it may come together, now it's going to change the playing field for recruiting. Now I think you'll see some more athletes like Dean's already doing, hey, I want to go to HBCUs because now money's being thrown into those programs consistently through the TV deal. Yeah. Getting money all the time. They now their gyms are constantly being updated. Their locker rooms are getting updated. Their fields are getting updated. And like I said, you'll have more shows surrounding about the HBCU athletes. Talk shows like you have on ESPN College Day. Yeah. They'll have that same thing. It will be they'll emulate the same thing, but it'll be about all HBCUs. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think that's a great idea to be able to do that thing. And hopefully ESPN is the network that gets involved with something like that. But I mean, I really do believe it's going that way, and Deion's doing. I mean, I'm not a big Deion fan. I wasn't a big fan of him as a coach at first, but I'm definitely a big fan of what he's doing to promote the sport and promote HBCUs in the way it's going. Yeah,
and who knows? Maybe next year we'll finally get someone from an HBCU drafted. Oh,
yeah. Oh, I mean, they coming. That's coming.
They coming. There we go. I'm stirring it up a little bit. Stirred it up. Let me go back to some of the comments here because we got some folks that are lively in the comments. Shouts out to everyone. I see you, Dr. Jackson. Listen, Charles Jackson. Y'all need to know him. Follow him, Charles Jackson Media. I was just at a conference with him, and that man can bring some fire. So, Mr. Jackson, if you still in the comments watching the show, put your link out there, brother, so I can make sure that folks catch up with you for sure. Let me see where we at. Kevin was asking about Bishop Sycamore.
Oh man, that disaster. That. Oh, do you know about that?
I don't know about that. Again, I told you, but
man, you've been out the loops.
I've been under a rock for about 2 weeks, man. I don't know what's going on.
Bishop Sycamore is probably the biggest disgrace we've had in high school sports in a long time. It was basically it was supposed to be Masters and an academy that was hosting kids to be able to play other high school teams, and somehow they convinced ESPN that they were a real academy and they wanted to play IMG. Come to play IMG, they lose 60-0, and after investigating. The guys that were on the team are a lot of guys, JC dropouts or older than high school men playing in this game, older than high school. These are all guys that finished their high school career and playing this on this team, and they end up they end up getting blown out anyway by Bishop. But I mean, the liability issue is where I have a big concern with. You have grown men playing against these high school kids, and great. I'm glad the kids were able to defend themselves and play well. But the fact of the matter is that someone have the audacity to put grown men out there to play against high school kids in order to get on TV and play football is just stupid to me. Yeah, I know there's gonna be a 30. Yeah, it's a big mess, man. I think it's pretty sad that someone would want to do that. He could have had an academy and play like the military academies or something like that, but he bamboozled somehow ESPN that he would get on ESPN and play at a high school. So,
All right, good.
So it's a big mess, man. They got it straight. The funny part is they got blown out 60-0 by some high school kids. So I don't know if that's worse or
that's more the story right there. That could be more of the story right there, right?
Yeah. They got blown out. So it's definitely it's disheartening because now I think some people are really out there trying to put academies together to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make these super sports academies for kids to be able to attend schools and do things and emulate IMG. But when you have a Bishop Gorman, when you have not Bishop Gorman, sorry, when you have this Sycamore school that does the bad thing, now everybody's going to shun at it, and it's going to be a lot of poking, and it's going to be a lot harder for people to get that started off. So, I think that was just a bad story, bad decision. Whoever put that game on ESPN, I feel sorry for the person that booked them because I don't know if they have a job now at ESPN. But we'll see what happens.
Look, they've been shuffling folks a little bit over at ESPN, so you never know what's going on. We got a couple more comments about the HBCU conversation that we had. Kevin Cox was asking about who's the basketball kid out of LA that's top recruit. Talking about going to HBCU for his one and done year, just on the principle of bringing more exposure to HBCUs.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but I know he's talking about the kid that committed to Howard, the big tall kid that committed to Howard. But also, I know Mikey Hawkins, the phenom out of San Diego, that's in North Carolina now. He's talking about going to HBCU as well, probably doing the one and done thing or two and done. So amongst basketball, it's starting to become really popular, maybe to possibly go to HBCU. And I think with Deion and George and maybe a couple of more high-profile coaches taking over programs, I think you're going to see a lot more talent, digressing to HBCUs, especially if they get that network. It's going to be over because their families will be able to watch them on TV. They'll be able to get the same things that's going on like regular games are going on TV. So I think we might see a shift. I don't think it'll be a big shift. I think it's just going to be a different dynamic at the HBCU level. That is warranted. That is warranted. That they deserve it. They definitely deserve it.
That's true. I mean, thinking from an educational perspective, I think there has been a misguided opinion or stereotype, right? That from an academic perspective, it's been different at HBCUs. That it wasn't the same type of a Princeton, of a Ivy League, like a UCLA, whatever the case may be, and that's completely inaccurate.
Yep.
I think youngsters today, I was reading a story somewhere today, youngsters today are definitely more socially aware, socially active because they've been thrown so many different things in life. They've been thrown, right, all of the more prominent in your face, in your news, social injustices that are happening. They've been thrown a pandemic that they're dealing with. And I think right and kind of in line with what Charles is saying, don't we need to get some more of these athletes to say, I'm not going to go to Oregon State or UCLA. I'm instead going to go to a Howard. I'm instead going to go to an HBCU. So where does that conversation, I think, start with the recruiting process? It can't just be the schools and the coaches. I'm trying to bring it back to old school home, family, community, church, right? I mean, somewhere that conversation needs to happen to say, take a look at these alternatives, which are on par. So I think
you'll get that, but let's be honest, man. It's the mighty dollar. It's the mighty dollar and the glitz and the glam. I mean, you'll never be able to compare a Grambling to Oregon. The facilities in Oregon is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's Nike. It has everything Nike that you want to do. They got the glasses you could write. I mean, they have holograms and all kind of stuff going on. When a 17, 18-year-old impressionable kid goes see that, and then you go to Grambling, and it's nice, but it's not that.
Yeah.
Where you go, you're gonna go where the glitz and glam at, and that's the way it is. But that will shift, I believe, as HBCUs get more money, as they start, and like I said, as Deion keeps pushing this, more money, more TV time, more things going, I think their facilities now will start to be upgraded where they will attract kids. Now, I don't necessarily think they need to attract the top recruits, because the top recruits usually won't go there. They just need to attract good recruits, play football, because the 3-star, the 2-star is playing right now just as good as the 5-star is when they go to these places. The 5-star is just getting the glamour up front, but when it's all said and done, when it's on the field, those 2-stars and those 1-stars and guys that aren't even ranked are performing just as high as the levels they are, because they're all on the same field playing with each other. You just happen to have some elite, some elite, the guys that are in the NFL. I just think I think HBCUs, not only, I think I would hope they would concentrate not only on the athletes, which is going to drive a lot of money, but let's start concentrating on the top engineer. Let's start to concentrate on the valedictorians from some schools and getting them to go to the program as well, because that also adds credibility and gives those schools a lot more oomph, because people want to come there. My only drawback, you had this conversation so many times, we just need an HBCU on the West Coast. We really do.
Yeah.
We need something. We need something on the west of the Mississippi to be able to drive that experience and have it here. So we can also be a part of that experience going on over there.
That's true.
We can be a part of that TV. We can be a part about playing football over here. We could be a part about being taught by our own and talk about our heritage and talk about things here. But it needs to be rooted in some here in the West Coast, and with so much Black history coming from the Bay Area and LA. Yeah, there's no reason why we shouldn't have something here. There's enough land to build it. Someone needs to be able to step up and do it, and hopefully someone steps out and be able to join. So
who got Master P's phone number? Because I know he got blueprints already, right? He talking about it. We gotta give him a pitch tour of of the West Coast, so he can come over here and put that down. Let me ask a question about another aspect of this, and then I'll get to this other comment that we have. Because, again, you're talking about the money aspect, and you were talking about it, and Kevin kind of restated that as well. We've talked about NIL a lot, right? Yep. So how would that fit into, I guess, right? So an HBCU, and just kind of that whole aspect, and for folks that are listening to name, image, and likeness type of thing, right? How does that fit in?
I think it would bring a whole other aspect to it. I think let's be honest, the Black-owned businesses, especially down south, will be able to bring a lot to us. The Bojangles franchise that are there, the Waffle House franchises that are there. Now they can buy into the commercials on the television, as well as buy into these athletes pitching their product. So I think places like Atlanta and back east, they kind of got a market for that. Mississippi and those places have markets for them to be able to do those things. So I think that'll be okay. I think the not likeness stuff will come its way. I think if they're able to develop a network and have that, I think even more will come. More money will come, because they want more athletes pitching their product in order to sell. It's all about the advertisement dollars at that point to be able to get it. I think, and I think it would drive even more money for NIL within the HBCUs more so than outside of it, because outside of it, people don't know the HBCU athletes. They don't know them that well unless there's some superstar. Yeah. But if you have your own network, they'll get to know because people are watching them. Not only watching Alcorn State, but I'm going to watch North Carolina Central. I'm going to watch Grambling. I'm going to watch all these other people. But then Cookman, all these other universities, and watch all of them really, really pitch their product and do their thing and really show really, a great experience, man. The HBCU is, I've never been to one, but I've been there to visit one. But I know it's just a great experience, and I wish we had it on the West Coast. Yeah, I wish we had it on the West Coast to be able to, mirror that experiences that they're having on the East Coast and down south.
Yeah. Kevin talking about E40. Now look, don't man, that would be an amazing thing to have Vallejo's finest E40 out there doing some things. But you're right. And there's enough revenue out here. There are enough prominent African Americans out here, and not even just African American. I think there are people who would get behind something like this, of all ethnicities, and say this just makes sense. Put some financial backing behind it, put some brick and mortar into it as well, and hopefully it just continues to be a conversation outside of just us. But we can make some things happen here too, right? I've seen Team No Sleep do some big things over.
I know I know for a fact. At least
that's been for a lot of things, right? Someone need to talk about that, boy. You know, Fox Sports, CBS Sports, they've been stealing our stories too well.
But I would want to know that. This is the thing I would want to know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it from 1 and 2. The reason why it hasn't been done to this point. Why hasn't? Because I can understand down south, very rich, very rich and traditional in history. What's going on? I can understand back east, very rich and traditional in the history. But we're the founders of the Black Panthers in California, in Oakland. We have such a rich history in LA with the Watts riots. Even though it's modern Black history, it's Black history. So why? I'm not sure why we haven't been able to not even take the different curriculum, but mirror a school like that and bring it on the West Coast.
Yeah.
It would seem like that would be the ideal thing to say, at least we'd have one on the West Coast and they can fly and travel back and forth to play the schools down south and back east. But I mean, I would hope that Master P, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, all those entertainers would have, maybe not be, I don't know if they'd be the main sponsor, but have a piece in helping build this along with the E40s and the Too Shorts and all those guys up north, and be able to help bring something like this together, because this would impact, the future generations for years and years to come.
Yeah. Let's hope that they. We know they're thinking about it. I think again they're just looking for timing and probably looking for land, resources, whatever. But don't and they know don't wait too long. But this is definitely something that I'm sure that they know it's time to get moving. I think it's too new of a history, and those in the South and the East are long, deep roots. That's an interesting point as well, Kevin. But I would challenge that with, I think, the last few years, 4 years, 5 years or so, with everything that's been going on socially, politically, economically, has just made folks actually want to pause and say, are we doing things the way we want them? We want to be remembered for, right? So much is just happening. And again, I'm not going to go left or right, center, conservative versus liberal, whatever the case may be. I'm just saying so much has happened in our society that has made a lot of folks just stop and pause and say, we might need to change that whole dynamic. We might need to change the whole trajectory of where this country is going. And again, the millennials, the Gen Zs, Gen Xs, whatever the 18 to 20-year-old, the ones coming out of high school, whatever those are classified as, they are incredibly forward thinking, and they are not lazy. They are socially astute. They are out there hitting the groundwork out there from a political perspective. They are talking about climate change. Right, they're talking about things that matter. So the youth are definitely going to be the voice for themselves and for us in the future. So we need to pay attention to them. I think we need to listen to them as well. And us older folks, the seasoned folks who would have the financial backing, who have the means, should actually get in line, put the resources and put the things in place so they can be successful. So build, what is it? If you build it, they will come. Hey.
Oh man, they I think
if you
not
build
only would
it,
they
will
come, it would be impacted immediately, because we don't have that resource here on the West Coast, like you said. I mean, we got states from Washington to Portland to Arizona to Nevada, Colorado and all that, and there's nothing here that represents the HBCU experience. I don't want to say because schools are schools, but the HBCU experience.
Yeah,
we don't have it. Davis was the closest thing. UC Davis was the closest thing when they used to have Black Family
Day. Yeah,
that was the closest thing.
Then them brothers got to acting a fool out there.
But that was the closest we had to that kind of experience right on the West Coast.
Beautiful.
We had people coming from all over to participate or just to support that function. I just think we need bricks and mortar to say, hey, it's our own. Let's do our own thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you want to talk about, I know most historical Black colleges are based on history. Man, we got so much history in California, it's unreal. So why don't we why isn't there one here?
And this right here could also be a challenge, not necessarily a problem right here, right? Just the cost of living here in California it's ridiculous.
But so you can say that, but
again, I don't say it's a problem. I just say it's a challenge, right? But something that can be over.
It's a challenge, but I mean, let's be honest with you. They got pockets in Central California that could be reasonably affordable. You know, outside of you go south of Stockton, you go to Los Banos, you go those places like that. Somewhere in the Fresno area, there are places where they could build something that won't be as expensive to build it in the city like L.A. or build it in the Bay Area. You can move it outside, and people will come. You know, I drove my son. My son plays in Marshall, Minnesota. I flew out of Minneapolis and I drive 2 hours to go take him to school after I've already flew on an 8-hour flight. Parents will take their kids to those kind of schools in order for them to have that kind of experience. So California is expensive, but something like that, I think everyone would get behind and have it there. And if you don't want to build it in California, build it in Nevada. Go build it outside of Vegas somewhere so it can be there so everybody can go there. Build it in Arizona. But we need to have something west of the Mississippi so we can enjoy it. We can definitely enjoy it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Man, I love it. I love this conversation. I love the dialogue. I love the fact also that Dallas Cowboys aren't winning right now. I'm sorry. It's about to be halftime and it's 21-16. Just keeping y'all aware. I know a lot of y'all watching football because it's back. So, you know, oh shoot, hold on. My man Tony Davis is in the building. I think he a Cowboys fan, so he gonna be upset with my comments. But let me see. TD, look, I love you, brother. Good to see you. They started to try to give experience of black college when a couple of years ago they had HBCU football. It was successful. Good point. Yeah, that's true, brother. That's true. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, yeah, I will just bring it on West. Let's bring it on West, and let's have to get down here, man. We'll be able to do our thing here and get us a Bojangles and get us a Waffle House in California too. I'll be happy,
man.
Super happy. Man.
Y'all don't know nothing about the Waffle House. Going in there at 2:00 in the morning, it's just.
Hey, they'll put Denny's out of business. Denny's will go out of business with the Waffle House around here,
bruh. It's not the cleanest. Look, if you have challenges with but I'm not gonna go down that road. But I'm just gonna tell you the food at a Waffle House is amazing. God, so well, I sure wish I was in Virginia right now because, or shouts out to Hotland, I'd be there right now. All right, good, but let's get focused. Yeah. Let's get focused. We wanted to talk about you. You had brought up a couple of things about. I'm gonna switch sports. I'm gonna go to basketball.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
You wanted to talk a little bit about
the grumpy old men.
There you go with talking about these Lakers, right? You know, you wanted to talk about these old school Lakers. They done just signed all these all-stars. Yeah, they've been around the block a little bit, but
they got some mileage on them, them bad boys.
You don't like the fact that LeBron is what is he, mid-30s now, and he.
Hey. I'm an older brother. I'm all for the old school guys to come on the court and do their thing. And me personally, looking from the outside in, I think they will be very successful. I think they will be successful as a team. But I think them knees is gonna get tired.
Wow.
That rotation better be on point because them knees gonna get tired. Them backs gonna be sore. They gonna have some guys that it's got some mileage on them. And I respect LeBron for really advocating to get, the guys he wants. They may have been a little bit older, but let's be real, man. They can all still play basketball. They ain't like they can't get out there on the court and do their thing. I don't think nobody's going to be putting up 50 or 60.
Yeah.
But I think collectively, they definitely going to be able to put some points and win some games. And I think they'll be smarter. All those guys are well seasoned in the game of basketball. They'll make smart decisions where they won't make dumb decisions. They won't throw away the bad pass. They won't do those kind of things. So, it is what it is, man. I think, LeBron has to have his all-star cast around him in order to win. He got it. So let's see what he can do with it.
Well, let's go ahead and see here. We got Carmelo, 37, Trevor, 36.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
Hey, your boy, 32.
Your boy Gasol, the Gasol brother, he 36.
Yeah.
Dwight, 36.
Ellington, 33.
Wow.
Dwight 35, LeBron 36, DeAndre Jordan 33, and Wesley Matthews 34. So
Rajon Rondo,
Rondo 30 and Rondo 35.
These brothers is close to retirement.
And even Russell's 32. So like I said, don't get me wrong. On the court, I don't think they're gonna make very many mistakes. That you got so much basketball aptitude gonna be playing on the court.
Yeah,
it's not gonna be a lot of mistakes I think made in the half court set. But I think if they get to somebody that can run and gun and get up and down that court, time after time. You know that if Steph get on one of them rolls when he running up and down the court all day, you know, it may be a long day for the Lakers. You know, like I said,
yeah,
you gonna have some icy knees and some back, some icy hot on deck.
Yeah, Steph Curry he doesn't age at all, and I saw some video again of him just taking circus shots from the logo during a practice not too long ago. So he's doing it, even though he's got some things going on the personal side. So you know, prayers to him and his parents on what they're going through. We're gonna stay out of that business, but you know that's probably that's weighing on him as well. But I'm sure when he laces him up, gets out there on the court, he's gonna handle his business. But yeah, he's still a beast doing his thing there. But
so I think the Lakers. I call them grumpy old men because when men get tired, they get all grumpy and tired. They get all they start complaining about fouls. They're gonna be complaining all day. So I'm gonna label them the grumpy old men. But I mean, I think they're gonna do some damage, man. I think that they'll be right there in the playoffs as usual. I don't think they need. I think they got exactly what they want: a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, and they got guys that can play basketball. So,
what if they don't win? Right, I'm looking at the roster and I'm looking at the salary. Right, I mean LeBron's bringing in 41, Russell's bringing in 44, Anthony Davis is bringing in 35. I mean these are grown folks' numbers right here. Right, this is nothing to sneeze at. And that's just a handful of them. This DeAndre Jordan bringing in 9. What's up, Rondo? Only bringing in 1.6. Go.
Yeah, he's not for minimum. But he's still getting paid by Atlanta though. He's still getting paid by Atlanta, so it ain't no big deal for him.
Yeah.
I think the South. I mean, if they don't win it, it's probably win or bust for them.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, but I mean, it's gonna be win or bust for several teams. You know what I mean? Phoenix is probably gonna be win or bust, or the Warriors are gonna be win or bust. So I think it's gonna be win or bust for 7 teams. But they got to look at it. They in the West. The West got everybody playing hard. So whoever comes out the West is gonna be beat up. It's gonna be can those guys on the Lakers. 1, avoid injury, and 2, if they can manage their minutes right. LeBron gonna play all the minutes we can.
True.
Everybody, and I think Anthony Davis, as long as he's healthy, he's fine. He's gonna play all the minutes. It's now all the supporting roles. Can they manage their minutes the right way so they can kind of get out there on the court and do their thing? And they'll be successful. I'm not bashing Lakers like they won't be successful. I think they're the second best team. I still think Brooklyn's probably the most talented team out there. Brooklyn got Durant and all those guys.
Right.
They'll be ready to rock and roll. That big three they got over there is just as deadly as anybody on the court.
True.
I think the Warriors is up and coming, going to be coming up, and then I think you got the Clippers still back as long as Kawhi gets healthy, and the way Paul George played and Reggie Jackson on the Clipper uniform. I'm hoping our poor Sacramento Kings could do something. Fox and Hill can get their stuff together and do something.
True.
But then you got Denver. You still got Denver, Utah, Phoenix. The West is just loaded. Dallas with Luka.
Luka's a bad man there. Yeah, that's true. Luka's a bad man. I do like him. I'd rather get rid of Chris Paul and put Luka out. I still had the same feelings about Chris Paul, but I'm gonna leave that alone too.
But you know what I'm saying? It's so stacked in the West that it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be not Lakers with that squad. It's still gonna be hard for them to get out of it. And it's gonna be hard for whoever comes out of the West. It's gonna be a tough game. But I wanted to bring up the grumpy old man. We had to talk about that roster, bro. They like I said, icy hot and ice. Boy, they're gonna have a lot of ice.
There's gonna be a lot of recovery, a lot of time on the table, chiropractor, and I need to get my treatment. There's gonna be a whole lot of conversations about treatment, boy.
You got about 5 bikes on it. You know how they usually have one bike ride. Notice how they got about 5 or 6 of them riding over there.
There's gonna be a whole lot of wraps around them legs, boy. But my goodness, it's gonna be fun to watch when it comes back. That's it, man. We did what we had to do. We talked a little bit about some things. We talked a little football, a little basketball. And we back in business, so I'm glad we online. You said there was a story about Gruden wanting to do something. Talk to me. I was trying to find out when I took me off camera.
Let's close out on that one because I'm gonna talk about Gruden.
Yeah, I was looking for that minute when
that dude, man. So, during camp, Gruden tried to go get a trade and bring Khalil Mack back to the Raiders. Obviously, Chicago shot him down. But Raider fans out there, Gruden is the worst GM in the past 6 years I've ever seen in football. This dude has demolished that team. I don't know how bad, and he makes poor decision after poor decision being a GM and a coach. So, the $100 million man that y'all gave him, y'all built a new stadium for this man, and he still ain't gonna win, which is terrible. So I feel bad for you Raider guys, Raider fans out there, because Gruden has just been running this team to the ground, and this is an example. So trying to make that move, I get it. I get why you want to, but it wasn't going to happen. But why haven't you see that the Texans are in shambles right now, especially with Deshaun Watson having to go. You have enough assets to be able to trade Derek Carr and several other assets over to the Texans to get Watson, and you have Mariota to back him up in case he does have legal issues or not. Why would you go after that trade? Why won't you try to make Watson the face of the Raiders now and get rid of Carr, because Carr is not just hasn't progress in an offense. I think Carr's a pretty good quarterback, but he just hasn't progress in the offense. If you want a new face, why don't you go get Watson, get rid of Carr, give away some assets, some other liabilities or some other assets you have. Go get him, and like I said, you have Marcus Mariota to back you up in case anything goes wrong with his legal situation. I think that puts the Raiders now in a different category. But this guy Gruden, man, he's ran that organization into the ground with with probably the best stadium in the NFL, which is going to host the Super Bowl pretty soon in Vegas. The new stadium, it's between them and the Rams Soho Stadium or whatever. But I'm saying they got a brand new stadium. This dude was supposed to be the king guru and come and change everything, and he has ruined that whole entire organization.
So you're not feeling this little line right here about Gruden crying after they let go of Khalil. Okay.
But it's his fault. He told Khalil, "Oh, you
man,
go ahead and go."
Yeah,
he let him go.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, yeah, he traded Cooper too. Traded Cooper to Dallas.
Yep.
He's traded everything they had on that team, on that roster that was worth of something.
All his weapons. Yep.
Yeah, and kept everything that was worth nothing except for that tight end they got. I forgot his name. He's a bad boy to tight end. But I mean, the dude is supposed to be the self-proclaimed guru, and let's put it out there. He didn't win the Super Bowl with his team. He won the Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's team.
Oh,
he didn't build that team.
Oh,
Tony Dungy built that team, got fired, and then Gruden just kind of stepped in, cleaned it up a little bit, and won the Super Bowl.
Let me find some sound effects, boy. You over there talking some. Okay, well.
So
okay.
He's not the guru that everybody says he is. And now that he took his hiatus, was supposed to be the quarterback guru, had his little show on ESPN, the quarterback thing and all that stuff, was saying how great he was, and he was going to come in the NFL and change things. And now we're in year 6. Raiders are still a mediocre 8-8 team. You could have paid me and you 1/3 of what he's making, and we could make them 8-8.
Just show up. We could have just showed up and made it happen. Right?
8-8. This dude has been making $100 million, making them 8-8, and there's no, and the thing is, there's no greatness in sight. Like it's not like, well, hey, they're getting these guys, they're gonna be coming in, they're gonna be good, or look at all the draft picks we got coming in the next couple of years, they're gonna be good. No, there's nothing there, nothing, zero. Yeah. What you have is what you got. They're the third best team in their division, and maybe the 4th.
Wow.
Unfortunately.
Wow.
They're fighting with Denver for the 4th. Because we don't know right now they're not better than Kansas City and they're not better than the Chargers.
That's true. That's a true statement right there. That's a shame to be that. Denver used to be something to talk about, but yeah, that's you don't want to be too close to them right now because that's not a good one to talk about. I'm sorry, Broncos fans, but yeah.
Let's not talk about the debacle he had with Antonio Brown, who just won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
He brought him in for all that money, and then Antonio Brown seen it was a mess, and he got himself out of there, kicked out over the helmet issue and all that stuff. I mean, it's bad when people are trying to find reasons to leave your organization. And like I say because Gruden was supposed to be this big time guy. You know, they talked about how great he was coming in, and he has done nothing for that organization. Other teams have made strides, and he hasn't.
Yeah,
at all. So, hey man, and then that's just a slap in the face to Raider fans. You try to get Khalil Mack back during preseason camp. So you so stupid that you let go arguably the best defensive player.
The best player. Yes.
The only man that we know in recent history to make all pro in 2 positions in the same year, outside linebacker and DN, and you let him go. For nothing. I don't even know what they got in return, to be honest with you, because it hasn't showed up on the field, whatever they got, but they really ain't got nothing in return for him. That's my stamp on it. Gruden's horrible.
Leave it like that, brother. Leave it right there.
Hey, what they do? They do the little hanging thing, right? They hanging up there, they hanging on out there.
Yeah. And just like Tony said, what he did do, he took that money from him though. That's crazy.
He got paid. That's for sure. He got paid. But see, that's a shame. But see, that just brings us to another story. We'll probably go on this next week. It's a shame that guys like him and guys like other people, like in that sports entertainment world, they get chances over and over and over again for failure, where African Americans and coaches of color do not get that another opportunity to get in there and make it happen in the NFL. We don't get those shit. Eric Bieniemy should have been the head coach of the organization.
True. No. Yeah.
Hasn't gotten the opportunity to be that. John Gruden has constantly failed over the last 6 years, but yet they still keep bringing him back. Granted, he has his contract and money invested, but you can buy those contracts out, just like they always do for other people they want in. Guys in the entertainment world, Tebow, Ryan Leaf get opportunities to commentate, go back and be analysts and do all that stuff. How come our Keely Smiths and all them haven't got an opportunity to become analysts? Same thing, same situation. They were drafted high. It didn't work out for them in the NFL, but yet you bring Ryan Leaf in there to do his thing. You bring Tim Tebow to bring his thing. Keely Smith was before there was a Kyle Murray and a Jackson, there was a Keely Smith at Oregon who was doing it. Why did he get the opportunity to come and become an analyst at these big things? Or why haven't how come Jamarcus Russell hasn't become an analyst? You know what I'm saying? We don't get those opportunities.
Yeah. That's a good point.
They do in this industry, and it's kind of sad. It's sad in the coaching world as well as the commentating analyst world.
You're close to that, so maybe again either next. Well, we're going to be off next week because, again, I'm going to be in Los Angeles taking my daughter to UCLA. Shouts out to
I'm going to be in Minnesota too, so don't worry about it. I'm going to be in Minnesota as well.
Okay, but when we come back, who knows? We may film something and pre-recorded and still have some content going, but I think we still need to go into some of those dynamics and some of those conversations, right? Bringing in someone, a sociologist, someone who can talk to kind of the mental aspects of not just the NIL pieces, but why certain folks, certain types of folks, whatever the case, aren't getting the types of opportunities that we think that they should be. So someone, again, on the inside of, irregardless of it's baseball, basketball, football, or hockey, I don't care what the sport is, but just someone else inside the industry that can probably talk unbiasedly about this is why these people, women, whomever, right, aren't getting the justification and the recognition that they need. We need to hear that conversation, and that conversation needs to happen, right?
And the thing is, I want it to be. I hope it's the uncomfortable conversation because let's be real.
Yeah,
race is an issue of it. Gender is an issue of it. Those things need to be talked about, whether they're right, wrong, or indifferent in the conversation. Those are subject and issues that need to be talked about and be the uncomfortable conversation, so we can kind of figure out what's going on and understand the dynamic. I think with us, Team No Sleep, we don't pull no punches with it. It is what it is.
We don't do it. Yeah.
Race plays a caveat in it. Gender plays a caveat in these situations that are making the big wins are making decisions in the background. Who's going to be on the camera, who's not going to be in the camera, who's in the background, and who's fired. They're making those decisions. So I would love to have somebody here to talk about, hey, why is Becky Hammond not a coach in the NBA right now?
Yeah,
obviously qualified.
Yep.
She's been in the pop for so long. She's definitely qualified. And I can understand some resistance with that coming into it a little bit. But I mean, let's be honest with you. That needs to be that uncomfortable conversation. That needs to be that uncomfortable conversation. So I'm looking forward to we having that in the future and talking about those kind of dynamics that's going on and how it affects our community and how it affects the imagery that we see on TV of not only athletes but of African Americans in different positions, African women in different positions, Latinos in different positions, and positions of power as far as coaches or GMs or whatnot. We need to be able to see that dynamic, how that power shift, or is it happening for real, or does it even exist in some organizations?
Love it. God, Doug. Folks, you see what we're doing here, right? We're trying to bring it, man. So I'm going to put this up there. Subscribe to the channel. I make sure I'm pointing to the right way. Subscribe to the channel. Continue to give us some support. We really are doing some big things. I'm not just going to tap us on the shoulder, but we really are just trying to break the mold of plain old boring commentary journalism and reporting. We bringing the heat, we bringing the smoke, all those additives out there, and we doing it for you, the community. Making sure that you have both sides of the story, not just the ESPN side or CBS side or the Fox side. We definitely want to bring all aspects of all these hard hitting conversations. So subscribe to the channel, give us some feedback, give us some criticism, come with your ideas too. Right, tell us what you want us to talk about. We've got a load of stuff to talk about. We already got our topics, but I tell you what, it would be even more inclusive if we can get some things specifically from you, the community, to talk about. Montel, take us out, brother. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go work on. I'm gonna update our overlays. I'm gonna update the show look. So when we come back, man,
we're gonna be fresh. Huh?
Let me tell you something.
Let's just say back in the day, we're gonna be fresh to death.
We gonna be popping collars. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna. Okay. We B- right now. I'm gonna put us in the top in the 90 percentile for sure next time that we will go live. So yeah.
It is. So we're gonna be popping bottles and looking good.
Yeah,
definitely to take us out. I mean, like I said, as long as you're 6 feet over, you blessed. That's the thing that everyone needs to realize. As long as you got 10 toes down on the ground and your hands can wave in the air, brother, you're always gonna be blessed.
That's it. Brother, I appreciate you. That's what we do, folks. Thank you for joining us again. Thank you for also being respectful of the time that I had to take off. Thank you, Montel, for just being who you are, man. This is an amazing team and the community here that is supporting us. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Let's keep doing great things. We out, y'all.